Hey everybody! On this episode of Gaming and Collecting, me and Alex are returning to the Games That Shaped Us series to cover another game from our childhood. This time we'll be talking about Pokemon Diamond and Pearl, probably one of the biggest Pokemon games that we played back in the day. But anyways guys, on with the intro. So how you been?
Me. I gotta do my vocal warm up spill. Do your vocal warm up spill. Me. Did you do your vocal?
Okay.
Spill?
Anyways, so it's been
You do it. No, you're supposed to go. Do it right now.
No. Anyways, so it's been a week. Are you good?
No. I don't know where I am.
You're in your house hanging out with your cat.
I am. Hi, Poopy. Her name is Pooh for reference, people. Not P-O-O. P-O-O-H. Like Pooh Bear.
Yeah. She's kind of not the brightest cat in the world.
No, she's very dumb. She is dumb as a stump. Like, she ran into a wall yesterday, and I laughed at her because she's stupid.
I still think the best is that video of her trying to jump in the air and failing miserably.
I think I posted on the server. Maybe.
Yeah,
I don't think anyone commented, but I laughed.
It was definitely something.
She's something.
God, I can't believe it's already October.
I know. That's like kind of crazy. Like,
it's kind of scary in a lot of ways.
Yeah, it's a lot of scary, but what you gonna do? What you gonna do when you eat some beans? Beans. What you gonna do? I don't know what's wrong with me. Send help.
Yeah.
So what's been happening this week? Well, the Big E is over, so we can finally leave our houses on the weekend.
Yeah, thank God. And driving home wasn't. I could actually take the back roads for once, which was nice.
Yeah, that is nice. I almost went today, and then I was like, I'll take the highway, and then I was like, shit, should have taken the back roads. But
yeah, when I tried getting on the highway and it was like already like backed up, just getting onto like the main stretch because there was just people driving like morons. I was like, screw it, I'm just getting off and taking the back. Oh, and I got home in like 20 minutes, so it wasn't too bad. But yeah, we're getting to that time of year. It's crazy. We're gonna be in December before we know it.
Yeah, I think that's the more crazy thing is that it's gonna be Christmas before, like, it's gonna be 2025 before we know it.
I know.
That's crazy.
I know.
You're gonna be 30.
Thanks. Thanks for sharing that.
Ew, 30 years.
I'm sure our mother's crying somewhere about it, but
yeah, because 1995, 2025.
Yeah, I know.
30,
I'm aware.
30.
I'm very aware. And that's like the point where your body just starts fucking giving up on you too.
No. Remember, did you ever watch that movie 13 Going on 30?
No.
You should watch it. It will teach you to embrace 30 and be excited about 30.
I'm at the point in life, Alex, where like the hour before we were recording this, I was sitting on the couch and like desperately trying not to fall asleep because we're old now.
Today I was supposed to leave work 15 minutes early, and then unfortunately I got a call from my boss's boss, and I can't ignore those calls. You can't ignore that. So I was like, shit. And then it ended up going on for like right until 4, and I had to send him some files, and then the files were too big, so I had to downsize them so I could send them over email. I was like, are you fucking kidding me? And I left at like 4:15. I was like, I was supposed to leave early. I wanted to go and beat the drum. I was pissed, but there's nothing I can do. Oh well, it was fine. It was nothing bad. It was actually good. It was a good call I had, but it was just like, damn it, I wanted to leave early.
Yeah, I didn't do too great on my anime watching this week. I was just like super tired.
Well, you finished yesterday.
Well, I finished one show. That was about all I got done because Monday I start. Well, Monday I was a wreck. When I don't want to get too into it.
Yeah.
Tuesday I did 3DO. Wednesday I just like didn't feel like watching anime. It was one of those, sometimes you're just like not into it.
No, sometimes I definitely agree with that. Sometimes I'm like, I've been trying to finish the show I'm watching. I just don't have time because of dance.
Yeah.
But I might be actually I have to go to the doctor. But you continue first. Continue your anime talk, and then I'll continue.
Yeah, but I mean, like, Wednesday I just instead felt like watching like a documentary because sometimes you're just into something like that. So I watched this really cool. It was a Hulu. No, it was a Hulu documentary called it was Batman and Bill, and it's like it's the story about the completely like forgotten co-creator of Batman who got completely overshadowed back in the day, and like the guy who everyone thought created Batman basically screwed him out of all the money he could have possibly made, and like he ended up dying like in poverty, like alone.
Oh my god.
And like the story was kind of cool. You don't even have to be a Batman fan to like it. It was just a cool story about
interesting. Well, it was sad. Probably.
It was really sad, but it was like the story is essentially this author who like he writes like children's books, but he was really interested in reading. The name of the guy is Bill Finger, who basically the guy who got credited for creating Batman created like maybe like 20% of the character. He basically created the name and the general idea. Well, not even the idea. He created the name basically, and then Bill Finger basically created everything we know about Batman.
Oh my god.
And he basically got screwed out of any. He made like a little money back in the day, but like he never got credited. Like his byline was never there. Died alone, and the whole story was like this author was essentially like doing an entire book on him, and throughout the story he's trying to. He basically his goal was he wanted to get Bill Finger's credit finally put on the Batman titles. Like they wanted like anything with Batman just say Batman created by Bob Kane and Bill Finger. Because that's what it should be. Because for years it was just Batman created by Bob Kane.
Yeah.
So like he ends up going through this whole thing, and he's like trying to, because the only way you can ever challenge something like that is through litigation, but you need to have a surviving heir.
Yeah.
And he's basically going through this whole thing where he finds out Bill Finger only had one child who was a son who was who died in 92 and was gay. So, but then he finds out that his son actually had a daughter.
Oh.
And he actually tracked down the granddaughter of Bill Finger and like basically got her to actually like try to fight for it. And the movie ends essentially with they finally in 2015 got DC to agree to finally add Bill Finger's credit on all Batman projects going forward.
Wow, that's awesome. That's a great story. I mean, it sucks that it took this many years, but I'm glad there was a happy ending.
It's actually one of those movies I watched. It was actually really like it touched at your emotions because you were like, wow, like because nobody knew Bob Kane. Like everyone was kind of a dick, but also the fact that it also revealed he didn't actually draw most, because he was the artist of the original Batman comics. Supposedly, he actually was hiring ghost artists most of the time because he couldn't draw for shit. Apparently,
oh my god.
He's basically a giant, kind of a fraud.
He's a fraud,
he did technically create, he is part of the creation of Batman. He does have that right. And he did draw the initial art, but like most of the stuff that people believe he wrote and created was not
actually
by him.
That's crazy.
Oh, it's just a crazy story. I knew of it, but I didn't realize it was that in depth. But other than that, I finished the anime I was watching, which I'm not going to say what it was because it's going to be an anime swap in the future.
Don't what did you think though? I'm curious because it was my pick that you had to watch. So
So
give me
it was very good. It was definitely a quick watch.
yeah, too fast.
It
I
also
wanted more.
it really ends with you wanting more because it basically kind of ends on this a happy note, but there's obviously so much more to tell because it
Yeah.
doesn't end. It ends on a positive note, but it doesn't conclude any of the ongoing plot threads.
Yeah.
So I'm interested. Gonna watch the second season when it comes out.
Yes, and I will watch your show after I finish my current show because I can't put a pause on it. I'm too invested. I need to keep watching it at this point.
Which
The
show is
story
that?
is great. Nana.
That's never been. I've heard
Was
the.
Madhouse what was turned into Mappa? Did
I
Madhouse
don't.
become Mappa, or are they two different things? Because the
I
font
think
looked the same, and I was like,
I'll have to look on that later. I think they're two separate things, but I
okay.
think Madhouse is still around.
Oh, okay. The font just looked familiar, so I was like, huh, is that what? It's really good. I mean, it's older, but I actually don't think the animation is that bad. But a part of it too is it's a very stylized anime.
Mm.
Like
I've
it's one of those shows that like you would be able to recognize the artist immediately because it's
oh no,
very much
I know the manga series because I've seen it. You see it everywhere. It
yeah.
also is infamously it's never been finished. It's like still it ends on a it doesn't have a conclusion, which is kind
Huh.
of sad.
So the anime must not either.
I
But
doubt it because the manga is still not
yeah.
finished. It's been on hiatus for like
I wonder
years, I
where the
guess.
anime is gonna stop then in terms of the show because I'm only on episode 13. No, 15 at this point, and there's 24 episodes. So I'm curious to see where it's gonna stop in the. But
What's
I'm really enjoying it.
What's really interesting is the reason I know about that character is one of my favorite animes, Golden Time, actually has a kind of like a pastiche, like tribute to that character as the main character Bonnery, his neighbor at the apartment complex he lives in, is literally a punk rocker in a band named Nana who looks identical to the
So
protagonist.
one thing though you have to remember though is there's two Nanas. That's the
Yeah,
premise of the yeah.
it's
So
a
I don't know.
it's a pastiche to both
Yeah,
because it's I read into it. It's a tribute.
yeah,
They kind of leave it ambiguous whether they're the same character or not, but it's kind of like a little like tribute thing.
yeah.
It's
No,
just
it's
really funny
definitely.
because from what I've read, the character in Golden Time is basically almost one for one, just kind of as a tribute.
Hmm, it's funny.
But yeah, um, other than that, I'm gonna hopefully this weekend get into more anime. I think another Slime episode came out today, so I'll watch that later.
Yeah, I'm going biking tomorrow on my new bike. Some people saw I got an e-bike and it's so freaking fun. Oh my god, Bill thought I was gonna die when I was riding around the neighborhood and I was really excited, so I wanted to show Bill. So I stopped in front of his house. I said, "Come outside," and
Well,
that's it. I
I
didn't
could
even put.
I could also see you on my Ring camera because I was like, "What the fuck? What the
Oh,
hell is
okay.
she doing?" And then I was coming out as you uh, texted me. But
And then and then Bill saw me zoom, and he thought I was insane, and then he inflated my tires.
because because
They
her and
weren't flat. They weren't
they weren't
flat though.
they weren't full though either. Like I
It's so
swear,
fun.
her and our mother are like the worst when it comes to tires on bikes. Like
I bought a bike pump that has a gauge now, so I'll be able to know, Bill. Be happy. Be
I
proud of
still
me.
will never get over you and mom riding around on the rims that one time.
That was mostly mom. That was mostly mom.
Yours were
Anyway,
borderline flat too. So
shut up. Um, what else was it? Oh yeah, I have that tomorrow, and then I have I'm going to the doctor because my foot's really been bothering me. So it's been throbbing most of the day, and I thought it was just like strain, but I probably should get it checked because it's been throbbing for like 4 days in a row. What are you drinking before we get started?
one of those monster beast things.
What flavor?
Killer Sunrise.
What are the calories?
I
What are the nutritional facts?
They don't give you that. So,
Oh, well, Bill, aren't you gonna ask me what I'm drinking?
what are you drinking?
I am drinking a Dell's all natural pink. Oh god, that was a good joke. Pink lemonade. I need to take a sip of it after. Everyone cares, Bill. No one can read that, so take it off the fucking screen. It is 1 serving size per bottle. There's 180 calories. It's my sweet treat. Don't judge me. 0 fat, 0 cholesterol, 10 milligrams of sodium, 48 grams of carbohydrates. You turn that fucking music off. 0 grams of protein. 5 milligrams of calcium. Shake well.
I'm glad I'm ruining this for
Would you like to know the ingredients, Bill?
No, let's move on.
It's filtered water, cane sugar, lemon concentrate, natural flavor. What does that mean? From carrots? Carrots in my lemonade? What the
Anyways,
Anyways,
so-
refrigerate after opening and eat your beans. And everyone cares about my facts. Alright, poll. Who cares about my facts? Oh, did you hear that? Every fucking person. Shut up.
but anyways, so moving on to our topic for this episode. It's been a little bit since we've done one of these. I think the last one we did was talking about PS1 racing games, but we're doing another games that shaped us for this episode, and this one is one that is very personal to us because this was a game that was kind of Alex's discovery of RPGs in a lot of ways. It was also one of her first real discoveries into gaming in general, because I mean, she had a Game Boy Advance, but she barely used it.
Yeah.
She had a Game Boy Color, but she barely used it.
Yeah.
She kind of watched me play the PlayStation and PlayStation 2. So the DS was in a lot of ways Alex's.
I would try and play with you, and you would get really angry all the time.
Well, because Lego Star Wars we've already been over, you would just run off the cliff and die repeatedly, and yeah.
I didn't get any of that. It was glitching out.
Well, it was fine on my end.
Get any of that. All I heard was cliff.
Well, anyways,
so what are you talking about?
Lego Star Wars, you drove me insane by jumping off the cliff repeatedly because
I didn't. You sit on a mountain of lies. You were a liar.
You flat out said in the Lego Star Wars episode that you used to do that because you thought it was funny.
You edited it to make me sound bad. I know what you did.
That is bullshit because everyone knows I don't edit.
No, yes you do. You edit out my burps.
Yeah, well that's
what else do you edit? You edit to make me look bad. You make me look like a psychopath at the end every time.
Like you do that to yourself. I just leave it. I just cut off the recording.
No. Bill edited it, everyone. I never said that and I never did that. I was the greatest sister and I helped him beat Lego Star Wars. I was the key. He wouldn't have never beat it without my help. I taught him everything he knows. Anyways, continue on the game we're talking about.
Well, anyways.
You know what I thought of?
What?
The background when we film, it reminds me of my favorite character from Stardew Valley. Cropus, because he's a star in the sky.
Alrighty then. Anyways, so speaking of that, like Alex, we had mentioned before, Alex was not the biggest gamer at the time, and most of her gaming was throwing controllers and getting.
Hey, I did not throw that many controllers.
I have the evidence because I have the janked up controllers.
You make it sound like I had anger issues, and I didn't.
No, you had gamer rage, which is just a thing people had. But anyways, the game we're talking about is another entry in the Pokemon series, because Pokemon is just kind of an ongoing theme on this podcast. We're actually talking about Pokemon Gen 4, Diamond and Pearl. Specifically Diamond and Pearl. Not so much Platinum, because Alex didn't really experience Platinum initially, and I've only played it sparingly years later, so I didn't get the true experience of that one. We're
Yeah.
talking about the bare bones Diamond and Pearl, the original Gen 4 games.
Yeah.
And for context, I had Diamond, Alex had Pearl, because that's just how we were as kids. We always had opposite games, except for Leaf Green.
Yeah.
Except for Leaf Green. That was the one exception. We both had Leaf Green. But yeah, Diamond and Pearl. What an interesting like game that's kind of
it got a remake.
It did a remake that's very hit or miss, but it's also in a lot of ways like these two games have gone through the ringer in terms of like reception over the years. Where they started out generally positive, that people hated them for years.
Yeah.
And people have gained an appreciation for them, especially with like Platinum and the remakes to a degree. And like the Legends Arceus game, which takes place in the same universe. Like, I don't think the problem was ever the games. I always think it was like just they weren't the best put together at the time. And they honestly, at the time, I think especially compared to like Black and White and Ruby and Sapphire, like its direct predecessor and successor, it was a little weak.
Yeah. It did bring us one of the coolest, what's it called? Not gym leaders. Elite Four champions.
Well, Cynthia is one of the most badass but also frustrating champions in the entire franchise.
Yes.
I think a lot of it, the recent like kind of like reevaluation of these games though, has come from the fact that like since X and Y, the series has been very mid, I guess is the nice way of putting it. Like, because I am infamously, I've said in the past, I hate Sun and Moon. Like, I just can't get into those games. I'm slowly gaining an appreciation for Sword and Shield and Scarlet and Violet. I don't care. Alex has played them all, so she can probably say more.
No, I definitely think, honestly, even after Black and White, when they took that step into 3D, something just shifted, and I just feel like what made Pokemon so great was kind of starting to get lost. I mean, there's still definitely like, I don't know, just something changed in it. Like none of them were like, I don't know. Black and White was just so good, and the formula was really down. And not that X and Y is bad, but I feel like it was just the start of the change.
See, X and Y was just an interesting case of them throwing everything at the wall just to see what would stick.
Yeah.
Which it's not bad, but it's just a very all over the place kind of game. Sun and Moon is just, it's weird because they actually did try new things, but everything they tried, I just don't think was good.
Yeah, I mean, I played through it, and I don't think it says, I mean, I think it clearly shows when they remade the game and changed the ending part that clearly they needed to fix some things because it was really fucking weird, the first one. But I mean, like, I didn't think but I did also think it was kind of silly. Like, the whole thing, they were like, we're trying something new. But then the result of the story is like, oh yeah, but we're changing formats to the old way is like actually the storyline, which was kind of like stupid. It was like, okay, like what was the point of doing all this?
Yeah.
You know, just hot take. Probably not. Probably honestly not a hot take. Probably a very normal take.
See, Sword and Shield to me was a game that I inherently disliked at the time it came out, and I didn't actually play it. And then I've actually
give it a chance. That's the thing.
I know, but that's because I was so jaded and bitter. A jaded and bitter Pokemon fan.
I enjoyed Sword and Shield. I think it had a lot of good things in it.
It's not perfect, but I do agree that I'm currently playing it in the background. We'll probably cover it again once I finish it, but it's been a game. Like shout out to Play Along Pod. I was on their show, their Get Rec show with their one of their co-hosts, Ben, and we did a series. The whole idea of it was like he recommends a game and I recommend a game that both of us haven't played, and then we play them and then we discuss. I recommended the Scott Pilgrim game. He recommended Pokemon Sword and Shield, and he got me to play Sword and Shield, and I actually liked it. Like I was enjoying my time, so I'm coming around to that game. Scarlet and Violet, though, I just don't care. Like I just can't care.
Honestly, like Scarlet Violet, it wasn't that great. I mean, like, I had fun playing it, and I liked some of the new stuff they added, but I didn't like the what is it called? Like the enemies. Team
the
Team
team.
Yell. No, it wasn't Team Yell. No, Team Yell was Sword Shield. Team Yell was great. I love Team Yell because it was just a brother who loved his sister.
Team Yell is just a group of inconveniences who just show up at times to be annoying.
I can't remember what Scarlet and Violet's team was, but I know it was like the like kids who were bullied and they made a club. And like, it's fine, but it was just kind of lame. Like we went from like Team Rocket and like people trying to destroy the world to I was bullied.
Well, we went from Team Rocket, who was trying to take over the world, to Team Aqua and Magma, who were trying to literally reshape the fucking planet, to Team Galactic, who were trying to fucking take over the universe.
Yeah. And then like Team
and then Plasma, who were trying to fucking reform fucking Pokemon.
But really they weren't though at the same time.
Well, yeah, like, it was a scam.
They wanted to reform it for everyone else but themselves and then rule the world.
Yeah.
And then
Team Flare sucked. Team Flare sucked. We're not even going.
That's the problem. That's what shifted. After Team Plasma, they never got, I mean, there's some that are fine, but we never got like that intimidating evil team. We never got that back. Because I mean, I love Team Skull. Like I think they're hilariously great and terrible. But all of them are lame. Like none of the teams are cool anymore. Like Team Flare, they just want to be fashionable, and I'm like, this is stupid.
Well, that's actually the kind of thing I appreciate about Team Yell is the fact that they're supposed to be stupid.
See, yes, and the same thing with Team Skull. Like they're just like a bunch of punks and stupid. Team Flare is just a bunch of bro cops. That's really all it is. That's really all it is. It's just a brother who loves his sister, and she's just like, "Come on, can you please stop?"
I love the fact too that the sister's a character you can talk to, and she's just like, "I ignore them."
She's please. So done with it, and that's what makes it even better.
But yeah, Diamond and Pearl. We should probably talk about the game.
Yeah, get back on track.
So can you believe Diamond and Pearl came out in fucking 2006/7?
No, that's not registering in my brain. Please take that. I was 10.
Yeah, well, technically you were 11 because it came out in America in 2007.
Oh, okay.
So I was 12. God damn. We weren't even teenagers yet.
We weren't.
Do you remember like starting this game up for the first time?
No.
I remember booting it up and like because the DS was still kind of, well, it's weird because the DS came out in 2004. So it was already like 3 years old by then.
Yeah. It lasted for a while.
It did. But you also remember the GBA was still getting games by that point, which is still crazy to me.
True. That's just a trend though with the Nintendo in general. They usually try and keep the other one for a little bit before switching.
Yeah. I just remember like booting up Diamond and Pearl, like the whole like double screen thing, and then like the whole I remember thinking the legendaries at the time were very
scary.
Unique. They were different. Well, because like the previous gens, they were either like birds or dogs or
pickles.
Whatever the hell Ruby and Sapphire is where they first started getting a little crazy, but then this one they were straight
up whale and lizard,
dinosaur and snake, dragon.
Oh yeah, whale, snake, dragon.
Now they're like in this game they're straight up deities, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
But they have very unique designs. Like I picked Diamond, so we had Dialga, who was just like this weird like horse creature thing.
Spiky horse creature.
Who controls time. And then you had Palkia, who was this like dinosaur looking thing that controlled space.
Yes.
To me too, this was like the last classic feeling Pokemon
Hmm.
because Black and White was really the start where they started changing stuff like a lot,
Mhm.
and this one is the last one too that started with the whole traditional like you start in your starting town. It was actually interesting because the gym wasn't in your
Black
starting.
and White did that too, though.
It did, but Black and White just felt different.
Yeah, but it still started the same. Like, it still started in your hometown and stuff.
True. I think the way I'm phrasing it's wrong. I think it's more like the narrative just felt traditional in Diamond and Pearl.
Well, it was more of like, let's. This is, I think, what you meant to say. In Black and White, there was an overarching storyline that was clearly defined from the beginning. Because even in
Yeah.
the intro cutscenes, it was very
Oh,
defined.
yeah.
Like, there is a story that's going along with it. Diamond and Pearl was just your, all right, we're gonna beat all the gyms and beat the Elite Four, and that's really it. There wasn't really an overarching like other story happening. Yes, we had like Team Galactic,
Yes.
but like there's like I couldn't tell you. Like I knew they were bad, but I didn't really know exactly what they were doing. I was just like, oh yeah, I gotta fight
They
these guys
blew
now.
up a lake.
Yeah.
They blew up a lake.
No, I mean like, but like there was no like it just kind of would
Ugh,
happen. You'd
I
kind of just
know.
experience it in the game. You didn't feel like you were put into a story, I think is what you meant to say.
I just
Or
this game to me, like the first thing I always remember is like, so this game I think is like the first one since Gold and Silver where like you get a rival who is like an actual
But
character. Oh, you
I
named
named
him.
mine Butt.
I think you named him Buttface.
It was either Butt or Buttface. I was remember I was 11. Don't judge me.
Yeah,
11.
this game we had mentioned in our protagonist episode we did in the past, but like Don and Lucas.
Barry.
Well, we had Don and Lucas are the protagonists,
Yes.
and then there is Barry, the rival, who's not really. He's kind of a subversion from like the blue and silver archetype, where they were just kind of assholes.
Yeah. Barry's just like, hey guys, what's up?
Barry, I think I named him Crackhead back in the day because he was just fucking on crack the entire game.
All right, you can't judge me for naming him Buttface if you named him Crackhead at 12.
Well, I used to name like Blue like Jerk Off and stuff just because he was such a jerk. But like
Terrible.
yeah, but stuff like that. But yeah, like I always named him like either like Speed Freak or Crackhead because his entire gimmick is he's always at like 100%, like running around like a psycho. But he's not like a dick. He's just kind of he's like your annoying friend who you just run into a lot.
Yeah.
I also loved in the original game how like despite like the Sinnoh region supposed to be like supposedly being the cold region, they're like wearing short sleeve shirts and Dawn infamously a mini skirt.
Hey, she has a scarf on.
They all have scarves on.
Exactly. That's gonna keep her warm.
But I love in the in Platinum how they gave them all jackets and long sleeves because it just made more sense.
Yes.
I always found that funny. We'd mentioned in the past though. I know you like Dawn a lot in particular as a character. Lucas is hit or miss with a lot of people, but
he's just kind of there. I don't like his newsboy hat.
I don't like the fact that like Dawn and Lucas appear as characters in the game if you pick the other, but like they kind of just stop doing stuff after like
a certain point,
like an hour of gameplay. Like I think like so I usually play as Lucas. Like Dawn just kind of chills in like Professor Rowan's like garden for like the rest of the game.
Supposed to be like working with the professor. Like it
yeah,
sucks too though. Like the other character doesn't get to go on a journey. Like
yeah, it's not like Brandon and May where you'd constantly see the other one throughout the game at various points.
No, you do have to remember in Black and White, don't they? Doesn't the other character just not even exist in terms of the story? I feel like they don't because you have
no, they do. They exist. They do exist. They're in the battle subway. That's the only place you can run into them.
Yeah, but you can't like unless you actually do the battle subway, which not everyone does.
No, but they do. technically exist in the
Yeah,
game. They're
but
just
in terms of the storyline of that game, they don't exist. It's
no.
either just you are one or the other.
You're either Hilda or Hilbert, but you're playing as Hilda because it makes so much more.
Sorry, whenever I see Hilda, yeah, the Americans. I love Bill. You know your neighbor Hilda and Hilbert. You're very American.
Anyways, well, Alex is slowly losing her mind.
You know what podcast I listened to today? As a good, I rewatched and listened to the controller episode, and the my favorite episode of all time, the Stardew Valley one, and I still audibly laugh to this day whenever I hear the "Don't diss my man Krobus," and then Josh going, "I like how you're using strawberries as a way to bring him up. You like strawberries?"
Yeah,
oh
they
shit!
are.
I dropped my maple.
Anyways, no one can see that because you won't let me post the video.
You can't. I have makeup on. No one wants to see that. I'm hideous.
Oh, shut
The
up.
makeup makes me look slightly less ugly.
But yeah, we've also talked about the starters in this game. How like this is, I think, one of the last gens where all three starters were like, well, black and white as well, but like all three starters are just great.
Yes.
Good old Turtwig, Piplup, and
Why does
Chimchar.
Chimchar look like he's scratching his ass in this photo? Sorry.
Because he's a monkey, he probably is.
True. He's about to fling some poop.
We are both Turtwig stands though.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but like I will say it again. I've probably said it like 50 times. The Detective Pikachu movie made me freaking love Turtwig and his final evolution, because it's just the idea of him being a continental Pokemon that's humongous, and it's just like part of the that's just so freaking cool. Sorry.
Then Torterra's kind of badass.
Yes. Is badass, not kinda.
So I will say, like, the game's plot is very kind of, it's there, but it's very much disjointed and kind of not the easiest thing to follow.
Yeah.
It doesn't have a narrative. Like, even like Ruby and Sapphire kind of had a narrative, but it was also disjointed. This game's narrative is kind of like Team Galactic's up to some shit.
But you gotta go beat the gym, so get going.
Yeah, you're basically kind of like you'll get to a point in time where like you'll be doing gyms, and all of a sudden it's like Team Galactic's doing something. They blew up a lake. I love that scene just because all the Magikarps just flopping around the rest of the game.
Yes.
Also, like despite so I will say like the original Pokemon in this game are pretty decent. Like I love like the Shinx line. Like that's still one of my favorite like Pokemon like from this gen. There's a lot of old gen Pokemon as well, though, so it's a very kind of mixed bag of Pokemon throughout.
Yeah.
Like, Diamond is the game where I found my first legitimate shiny.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, on Iron Island, I found a shiny Onyx. It was gold, and I named it Goldix because I was 12. I still have it. It's in my Diamond file still.
When you evolve a shiny, does it stay shiny?
Yeah, I have a golden Steelix. I gotta transfer that to like one of my modern games at some point just to have it.
Goldix.
But because I remember I didn't know what shinies were, and I found it in the cave. I was like, "What the fuck? Why is this Onyx gold?"
You're like, "Oh well."
And I caught it because it was why not?
Why
but,
not?
Yeah. But also, this game to me, like the progression on the map is so fucking obtuse because like you're like all over the place. Like it doesn't have like a very like one thing I will give Black and White forever is that it's literally a circle. It's so easy to get around that the Unova region. Sinnoh is a fucking mess. Like you go one place, it's like this gym's not open yet. Go around and then come back, and then you can face this gym.
Get the fuck out of here! You're not welcome.
Also, this was like the last game to have contests until they brought them back for the remakes. Did you ever do contests?
Yeah, I actually did contests a lot. I sucked at that. I could never get figure them out. Like, I would try dressing my Pokemon up in the stupidest shit ever. Like, at first I tried making them actually look cute, and then I'd always lose, and I was like, damn it. So I just started basically covering them with shit, and then I was doing better at contests.
I will say one of my favorite parts about this gen was they introduced the whole like the style Pokeballs.
Ugh. Where you could put fuck.
Yeah, fucker, shit. You could basically because they wanted to mess around with the touchscreen. You could drag and drop a whole bunch of little icons, so when you threw your Pokeball, it would have this little like effect that would come out. And they gave you the option to use letters, and there's no censor, so you can write whatever you want. And I used to always have one Pokemon that would just come out and be like "shit" in brown letters, because of course, because 12. They were very fun. I used to always make them like the most garishly ugly things ever, because you could just put as many stickers as you wanted and just make a fucking mess. Shit or fuck, just like the stupid shit.
I don't know how they didn't think that through. Like, I just
they thought the Pokemon fan base was a lot more innocent than they were.
But no, that's not fair, because like they would make it so the game so that you couldn't name your character like swears either. So they thought about it. They just didn't think far enough.
They didn't think about that, because they honestly, that was probably an oversight.
It was an oversight that they should have thought of.
This was also the game that introduced the concept of like the lower screen having like different things on it, like the Poketch.
Yeah.
Did you ever use the Poketch?
No, I never.
I used the step counter in it just so I could like try to like manipulate how Pokemon evolutions would happen, like eggs hatching.
I actually did use that for eggs hatching. I will agree. I did use that for that, but other than that, I don't think I used. Oh, I think I used the dowsing rod thing too. I think there was a dowser you could use on there, and then
there was a happiness guide that would like show you how much your Pokemon liked you, which was good for friendship.
Wasn't Diamond and Pearl also the one that introduced the Puffins?
Oh, let's talk about the Puffins and how you could just massacre your DS's fucking touchscreen.
Puffins!
You had to make Puffins. The minigame was a spinning platter, and you had to like tap the screen in circular motions at different speeds, literally massacring your touchscreen. My God, no, it wasn't. I fucking was like, I did it once, and I was like, fuck that. And they weren't even useful outside of contests, and I hated contests, so I was like, fuck this.
I like the Puffins.
You just like to destroy your touchscreen.
Yes.
I remember watching you make Puffins back in the day, and you'd be like in the corner over there, just like going to town on your screen. And I'd be just like, oh my God.
Yep.
With a fucking like connect piece, because you lost your stylus years ago.
Did. You can't tell me a single person didn't fucking lose their stylus. Everyone did. It was inevitable. Just like
As
Thanos.
a child,
He's
yes.
inevitable.
Yeah. I remember that vividly. Like, that was such a weird time.
Yep. The Connects pieces. I wonder if they still make Connects.
Oh yeah, they probably do, or you can at least buy them. But what did you think of the legendaries, like other than like the main ones in this game? There was some interesting.
There was like
choices.
50 legendaries. Wasn't there like a ton of them?
There was most of them were pseudo legendaries that really just barely counted. And like half of them.
Monkey men. What are they called?
The lake creatures.
Yeah, the little. I thought they were lame.
Because they also all fucking roam. There was so many roaming legendaries in this game. If you didn't have Master Ball, like if you didn't, because this was also the game where I first discovered action replay, so I just had unlimited Master Balls.
Yes, so did I. Bill also helped me with that, which is also, this is one of the main ones, and also the rare candies, because this one I fucking cheated. I had a level 100 Pokemon, and it was all from the candies. But it made me play it, and I never did that after that. I never did that. I don't know if I could cheat in any of the other ones, but I never did after that.
Well, when you grow up, you realize
It's not as
that
fun.
it's not as fun, and giving them all rare candies actually makes them weaker in the long run. So
Huh, I didn't know that.
it doesn't really matter for like the main game, but if you're trying to be competitive, like if their stats are like fucking shit, you give them nothing but rare candies.
Whoops.
Yeah, the legendary. There was the 3 lake alien creatures. There was that weird like electric thing in that the abandoned like ghost house.
Is that the Reggie? One of the Reggies?
No, that was like Rotom or whatever, or Zodom, so whatever. There was the Reggie Gigas, which was like the 4th Reggie. That because the Reggies were from Ruby and Sapphire.
Yes.
There was Darkrai. Obviously Arceus.
Yeah. I forgot about Darkrai.
There was Darkrai, there was Arceus, there was Cresselia, Garatina, who Garatina got an entirely upgraded thing in Platinum version because he was the cover character for Platinum. But he was also there. What sucked is you had to cheat to get most of these guys because a lot of them were all random mystery gift or event Pokemon that you had to like get the events for. So I used an extra replay to unlock those and helped Alex get them as well.
Oh, Rotom. Yeah, Rotom ended up becoming like just like
a generic
he's
Pokemon.
Not even a legendary anymore. Like
I don't really think he was a legendary then either. He was just a one-off.
Yeah, because there was Uxie or Yuxie, I think is how you say it. Mesprit and Elspeth. Oh, yeah. Those were the 3. I looked it up because I was just very curious. And then there was the
lava guy.
Heatran.
Heatran.
The lava dome Pokemon. He was
over ugly. On the he was over on the Battle Zone Island, which was the post game area.
I like the Reggie
Regigigas, yeah.
Regigigas is cool looking.
Well, I like the whole I like the idea to get Regigigas, you needed to have all 3 Reggies in the game, so you had to transfer them over from like Ruby and Sapphire, which was kind of cool.
Then there's Giratina. I'm just like looking now because I kind of forgot. Oh yeah, Cresselia. That's what that one looked like. Oh, and you forgot about the Phione, the Sea Drifter. I think you got an egg of that. And then Manaphy.
Yeah, Manaphy, and hit the weird like other version that you could get from like breeding it. This is like the one legendary you can breed.
The Phione something. Yeah, there's Darkrai. I don't think I ever caught Darkrai. Oh, and you forgot another one. Shaman.
Yeah, I don't remember. I don't remember any of these.
It's a little green hedgehog with a flower.
Right. I remember that.
And then Arceus.
Arceus was cool.
Victini, which is the victory Pokemon. I don't think that's a legendary. I think that was just one of the special you had to transfer thingies, but yeah.
Oh yeah, this game also had one of the most useless HMs in the entire franchise.
Which one?
Do you remember Defog?
No.
This game gave us the wonderful HM known as Defog, which you use a total of once, and then you never acknowledge it again.
Oh, one of the slave features.
Yes.
That's what it is. You have your slave TM, unfortunately. Your Pokemon that's just full of all the moves that suck, but you need them to get by, so you just bring them out when you need them.
See, a lot of the times when I need an HM, like an HM Pokemon, I would just catch one, use it for the thing, and then I just release it after. Like, I don't need you anymore.
Billy, we have a visitor. She's not going to show herself on camera, but say hi to the baby.
Hello, Miss Pooh.
Hi. That was Miss Pooh. Did you hear that?
Oh, yeah, totally. Yeah, so we had mentioned, like, Team Galactic, they are an interesting team, but their impact is so lame in this game.
They're very futuristic. Freaking bit me.
You probably deserved it.
No, I was giving her head scratches.
Yeah, but Team Galactic, like you run into, they're like they're like Team Rocket, but just less interesting.
Yeah, I think that's a good statement of like they're just not as like I don't know because team what were the other two the
Well, there was
plasma
Aqua and Magma in
they had personality
well,
they had
their whole
originality.
they had the whole overarching plot of there was the two sides pitted against each other, and depending
Right.
on which version you had different interactions with them, which was kind of cool. Um, Plat, Galactic is just kind of there. Like they have an overarching thing, but they don't leave any sort of impact, and then you kind of just beat them, and then they just go away.
And the mini like not the mini like the mini boss characters like the ones that are not like not the main boss but like the kind of the top people like I couldn't tell you any of them. I don't even remember what they look like I don't know.
They all look the same, but they had different hair color. That was basically it.
Yeah, like they just weren't very memorable.
No, they weren't at all. Honestly, like literally, I joked about it in the thing, but the moment from them that I remember the most is them blowing up the goddamn lake.
Like whoa, did something.
Because after you defeat them, they go away, and then you just go and face off against the Elite Four, which the Elite Four is awesome. Like I love the final stretch of this game.
Yeah.
Like you go to the electric gym, you face off against I think it's like Volkner is his name. And then you go to Elite Four, and the Elite Four is really strong, and then Cynthia's brutal because Cynthia like had
hard.
Well, she's got her Garchomp. Fuck the Garchomp.
And then the little gas one.
Oh, Spiritomb. Well, you can take out Spiritomb easily enough if you are quick enough.
Well, she was tough.
Well, she was also the most famous for like you'd whittle it down to like 1 HP and then full restore. Be like, fuck you.
Oh. Well, because she had Milotic, Lucario. Like she had a tough team.
That damn Garchomp though. The Garchomp was brutal.
And I feel like too, having them all be like that high, like I don't remember them being as that high leveled either. Like for your first time around, like having them all be in the 60s.
Oh no, she was challenging, like
tough.
Well, especially if you were coming off of Emerald, where Emerald has literally one of the probably weakest champions of all time with Wallace, because they replaced him. They replaced Steven Stone with Wallace for Emerald, and if you picked Sceptile or had a very strong grass type, you could pretty much one shot him through his entire battle.
Yep.
But yeah, Cynthia was like one of the first real champions that was legitimately difficult.
Well, especially her team was very well rounded too.
It was, and she was. I still think she's like one of the most interesting like designed champions as well.
Yeah. Well, Cynthia was just freaking cool. Like, and she was a champion that was actually trying to do something too.
Yeah, you'd run you'd run into Steven occasionally in Ruby and Sapphire. Obviously,
I don't remember any of that. I remember her.
Yeah, well, I mean, you don't have the same nostalgia for Ruby and Sapphire that I do. But also, because like Gold and Silver, I still think has like the weakest champion of all time with Lance, because it's just literally like one of the Elite Four guys from the last game.
Yeah.
And then like obviously Blue is Blue, but
I'm blue, double D, double D.
So, how much did you ever migrate Pokemon?
What does that mean? Clearly no, because I don't know what the fuck that means.
So, one thing that Diamond and Pearl introduced was they had to find a way to get Pokemon from like Ruby, Sapphire, Fire Red, Leaf Green over to like Diamond and Pearl. So they had this like feature called like the migration area, where you could like go to this little area and you could once a day you could bring over 6 Pokemon from one of the GBA games, because you could use the GBA slot in your DS at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And you could once a day bring over 6 Pokemon from one of those games, and you could catch them and get them over. Did you do that at all or no? No. It was a cool little thing. Unfortunately, the
Yeah,
DSi.
what you're talking about.
Yeah, you did not have a whole ton of material in your GBA games, probably. So okay.
I don't know what's wrong with me, but
So
everything is wrong with me. Yay!
I'm trying to think also because there was some of the post game content in Diamond Pearl was interesting. Like there was a lot of third evolutions for like Pokemon from previous games that they added. Like I know like
Yeah,
Magnet.
I remember when we were talking about the Pokemon, like doing our retrospective that mom hates. Then when we would go through all of them, and I believe this one we were like, oh, this one's an evolution for this one. But I
Yeah.
think we did that a lot with this one.
I always remember like Magnezone, which was like the Magnemite third evolution, which was actually really useful.
Mm.
Gallade, which was like the male version of like the Gardevoir line. Just a whole bunch of cool ones. There was also that Battle Island where you'd go and just fight a bunch of carrot players. There was also like the not Wally, the Berry fight, which was like one of the strongest fights in Pokemon statistically.
Mm.
Oh, did you play around in the underground? You don't remember that?
I know.
So there
Or
was
I did.
so there was like this whole like underground area where you could run around and like mine stuff and like just get stuff for like your little like personal like like rooms, kind of like the secret hideouts from Ruby and Sapphire.
Mm-hmm.
I remember messing around down there because it was just kind of like a thing to do.
Just for funsies.
Yeah. Um. Other than that, that's really about all I've got on Diamond and Pearl. Anything else you wanted to bring up? No. Can you speak? Oh, she's dead. All right. So
Did
yeah.
you hear that?
Yes, I heard that.
It didn't. It didn't break up on the mic.
No, it did, but I'm just.
Oh, well, fuck you, Mike. I'm changing your name to Ike now.
Yeah, but anyways, so Diamond and Pearl was one of those games from
Frank
back
the
in the day.
Beans was a pretty good game.
You've never even seen that movie.
That's a movie? I was just talking about actual hot dogs and beans.
Anyway. I'm not even going to explain this right now. So anyways, Diamond and Pearl was a great game back in the day. It went through a bit of a weird phase, but it's since kind of recovered. And it is not my favorite Pokemon, but it is one that I kind of fondly look back on.
Yeah.
But
it was a good time. Lots of rare candies.
Yeah. The remakes are fine, but the graphics I still kind of hate. So
yeah. And they took out some stuff too that they should have not taken out.
Yeah.
So.
But anyways, guys, that was another game from our childhood. We'll definitely cover more of these in the future. But once again, guys,
like the title of the podcast,
they are the games that shaped us.
Yes, that we only started talking about in the third season.
Yeah, probably.
Yep. We're fucking failures.
But anyways, once again, guys,
Thank you for watching listening to the Gaming and Collecting podcast. The Gaming and Collecting podcast is available on all your favorite podcasting software, such as Spotify, Apple, and all your other favorites. Bill puts them on YouTube too, right, Bill? You YouTuber?
Yeah,
Are you a YouTuber? Bill's YouTuber.
The podcasts do go up on YouTube. We do occasionally have video versions when Alex feels like letting me post the videos, but
don't be mad. You sounded a little butthurt. Your butt.
You're the one that gets upset about it.
Yeah, because I look hideous, and no one should see that.
cares that much.
I fucking care, so don't you dare put this up, or I will kill you in your sleep. I have a key to your house, Bill.
I have a key to your house. You have precious things in your house.
I changed the locks. I
No, you
changed.
didn't. That would cost you money.
I had to. Miss Pooh had learned how to pick it, so I had to change the locks.
Miss Pooh is the one that has a brain the size of a kumquat and runs into walls. I don't think she learned how to pick a lock.
Bill, a kumquat is giving her too much credit.
That's true.
I say it's as big as a pea.
Well, anyways, guys, once again, podcasting platforms, and be sure to check out the Superpod Network. That's superpodnetwork.com. It is an awesome website.
No one can see that.
I'm having it there just for reference. But anyways, superpod.com, superpodnetwork.com, you can find a whole bunch of different shows, blogs, like videos, all sorts of fun stuff. And you can also find a whole bunch of shows, including Superpod Saga, Super Ghost Radio, Retro Rehab, Tommy's Video Game Ride Along, A Novel Console, Our Silence, Fine Time.
Did you hear that?
No, you were muted because I'm trying to do something. Fine Time, The Elder Trolls Podcast, Remember 64, Gaming Together, Friday Night Gamecast, and then our 3 shows, Gaming and Collecting, The 3DO Experience, and Geek Addicts. Definitely be sure to check out superpodnetwork.com. And with that, everybody, we will see you all later.
Wait, how long did you have me muted for?
Right when I tried to do my spiel of stuff that's important. Well, no, because you were muted. So I don't have to edit anything. But thank you for telling us it happened, so now at least everybody knows.
No, I didn't. I swear.
But anyways, guys, once again, we'll see you all later.
No, you won't.